Hi, I'm Abby, and welcome to Hi everyone. The Imaginarium is currently in a state of chaos because I am cleaning things out and reorganizing, so bear with me. But this week I'm going to show you guys how I created a small commission. It's a small pretzel pencil, and I'm going to show you how I did it. We're going to go through the steps that I did. If I left anything out, I'll let you know what it was. And let's go. Welcome to the voiceover. Okay, so how we started this piece is by using some aluminum wire, and then I'm using some aluminum foil. So our basis for this is all aluminum. And what we're doing is we're building up the aluminum on the wire. And I use the wire because it makes it easier to bend a shape. So what I'm really doing is trying to shape this piece up into what I want it to look like. So layer after layer of aluminum foil really gets it going. And then I cut the ends off where I'll be putting the eraser and the sharpened end of the pencil. And then what we do next, since we have our base structure, is we're using epoxy sculpt, which is a 2-part epoxy clay, and what it does is it hardens in, I don't know, about 45 minutes maybe an hour. But you mix it together with water and it hardens the outside. And then we started with green, and then I drew over this with a blue marker. What am I saying? Blue marker, yeah. So I'm getting the patterning down on here, just freehand. It's like more of a star pattern than the kind of squiggly cow pattern. So we're just lining things up, trying to make all these stars fit, and just doing it freehand. And then what we'll do next is we're going to start painting. So the main color on here is blue, but I started with green because if I did blue first, I would have to go over the green so many times because it's green on top of blue. So instead of doing that, I started with green first, and then we're going in and going around each of the little stars. And sometimes it's hard to film things because I'll usually hold things while I'm painting them or sculpting them. And so it's kind of hard to like really get into the details like this. But I did manage to capture a few little scenes so you can see how the painting goes. So we're really just tracing out all these stars with the tiniest paintbrush ever and filling in all these spaces. And later, what we'll do is we'll go back and we sharpen up the edges of these stars. As you can see, they're getting a little wonky, but that's just because I'm filling in the blue. And then we're going to go back over with the green and really go into the stars. So here it is. Here's how it looks. I added the wooden end on the top. It's full wood, and then I also carved the end of it and put a silver metallic paint on there. Okay, and so this is also aluminum that I am folding over a paintbrush so I can get a nice shape that looks like the other end of a pencil. You know, that little metal piece that holds the eraser. And then we super glue that on, and man, do I really hate super glue. When it gets on my fingers, I could just die, honestly. But got through that, did a eraser, and one thing I forgot to record is putting on the resin, but I just put resin on the paint part of the painted part of the pencil. Painted part of the pencil. Say that 5 times fast. So I only put resin over the painted part of the pencil. I didn't film that part, just because it gets kind of hard with my hands being sticky with resin and etc. etc. But anyways, that was one little part that I left out. Ta-da! So here's our finished product. The small pencil, little pinky eraser, a wooden end with our silver end. I think the wood and silver was a good choice. I think it's a good transition for my work. Gotten better at the silver part here as well. I think that's gotten a lot better. Remember to always sign your work also. And check it out. Let me know what you think. It's a cool little tiny one. It could go on like a bookshelf or something. Check it out. Pretty fun. Let me know what you think. Later.